All right, I got a whole series coming out about this, like a whole full series webinar type shit. But everything that's happening in the United States is about the wealth transfer, that boomer wealth transfer. This is what I'm starting to realize. So boomers, I just watched a video on YouTube. I forgot what it was titled, so I apologize for not linking it. Oh, from 2025 to 2046, but I'm going to approximate 2050. There is going to be multi-trillions of dollars of American privately owned wealth that is going to move from the boomer class to millennials and Gen Z. For those of you boomers that decided to wait till you were 40 to have kids. The reason why this is so important is because we, as America, and Uncle Sam, as that bigoted racist that he is, knows we cannot have marginalized people in positions of ownership, authority, or power at a time when there's so much money on the table to be inherited or transferred. They can take all that wealth and then get up and leave an already failing American empire with it. But if we dehumanize as many marginalized people as possible, and we take away human rights and take away protections, and we force them into positions where they cannot access power, authority, and ownership, what is the only group of people that can own the wealth that is to be transferred? White American men. Are we starting to see something here? This is about ownership. Let's go back to that. Slavery was for private landowning men, right? Yes, I think America's going back to slavery, but that's not the point of this video. This is about ownership. Discredit anybody who is not the demographic of person you want, America, to have access to ownership. Don't let them own businesses. Don't let them run anything. Don't let them have any organizations that are connected to any kind of government funding. Don't let them be supported in their own self-sufficient communities, because we need to make sure the only people who are viable, credible owners of capital are white American men. Even if those kids don't go to school because they're not smart enough to go to school and compete with their peers that are marginalized. Even if those kids don't want to work jobs because they feel like they should just be able to mooch on welfare all the time. Because again, look at the demographics of who's eating welfare. Even if these people go out of their way to abuse women for the validation of other men. Because genuinely, what is it? Like, unless you're just a sociopath, you're doing this for the validation of other men. I conquered, I slayed. Like, this is the demographic. Donald Trump, and I'm starting to realize this, like, Donald Trump was placed in that position. I knew he was going to win since January of 2024. He was placed into the position of authority that he was to re-inspire this group of uninspired, hopeless, self-hating, average white American men to realize, hey, you know the same thing that Obama did for them black... This is what we're going to do for you average white dudes. Look at Trump. Look at everything that he's done to destroy his reputation, if you could even say that, and everything he's done to discredit what it means to be a stand-up American citizen. He can be the president of the United States. Now look at your lazy ass. Get the fuck up and do something, because you can be anything you want. That's the only reason why you had to figurehead the Republican campaign with Trump, because you can sell that to a populace. You can sell that to the population, to the masses who don't understand how Donald Trump and his gang contribute to wealth inequality and making their lives a living fucking hell. But on top of that, you can throw Donald Trump's face to resonate with the face of America that has felt like they've been invalidated and gone unheard over the past 8, 12, 20 years, whatever, since Obama, really. And then you can hide all of your real plans to coup and destroy and corrupt the government behind him, while all of his voters are so entertained by the bullshit that he's saying and the literally Super Bowl level media antics that are political campaigns, while you create actual infrastructure and plans to overthrow the country. Because it didn't work when you tried to do it from the front door January 6th. So we have to go in through the back door. Or forgive me, maybe I actually got that wrong. It didn't work when you tried to bust in the back door on January 6th. Because they had to arrest some of you guys. And that was too public. They couldn't have you seeing that like there's some people in government that are also participating in January 6th just as much as there were people on the outside storming the Capitol. So you just say, you know what? We're not going to have our illiterate third grade reading level drinking beers from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Trump supporters go into the Capitol. We're going to have our suit wearing, our PR team, our billionaire oligarchy guys show up from the front door, legally get in that house, and do all the damage that you guys couldn't get done on January 6th because you can't fucking keep your emotions in place. And all the hopelessness that average white men have been able to feel over the past 15 years, I'll say, all of that is supposed to get redistributed to all the marginalized people who have just been able to re-inspire the hope within themselves, whether that's through Obama, whether it's through women's rights movements, whether it's through marginalized people's movements, whether it's through LGBTQ movements. All of that hope that we've had since the civil rights movement, genuinely, is supposed to be over the next 5 years. So we just accept our role as the brutes and the slaves of this society, as we will never be more than the bottom rung of this society. That's what everything over the next 5 years is supposed to punish us into thinking. While these other guys who've just been hopeless because everything they've been entitled to, slavery, ownership of women, ownership of capital, access to build their own cults and terrorize everybody else, has been taken away from them. Now they can have hope in the world that they used, or their ancestors used to enjoy, terrorizing everybody. So I'll conclude this video by saying black people, marginalized people, fuck the political game. Fuck the mainstream debates, the social politics, the what. Oh, understand it's rich versus poor. Rich versus poor, and then there's a bunch of other subsects beneath that. Men versus women, black versus white, this versus that are all just cultural subsects of rich versus poor. And rich people have just bought this country through a legal democratic election. Rich people have bought this country through a legal democratic election. So what's the only thing that you can do to save yourself? Own your own shit. That's why they want everybody renting, because if you're renting, somebody else owns what you're renting, and you are under the mercy of them. Just like if you're working for somebody else, you're under the mercy of your boss. I'm not telling you to quit your job, but what I'm telling you to do is stack your own capital and make sure that you work in an organization that humanizes you, hopefully one that has a labor union, or at least know the boss of your company and know their intentions for that brand and that company while you are an employee of it. Because if you're not at the mercy of a boss or if you're executives, you're at the mercy of shareholders. And if they decide that they want a little more profit so they can get their 50 million bajillion dollar yachts instead of you being able to feed your kids at night, they are going to make that move and you will be homeless. You will be broke. And if you're spending any more than an hour on the internet every day, any more than an hour, I'm telling you right now, if you're spending any more than an hour on the internet and you're a marginalized person, you better be making some bread off this shit. I'm telling you right now, this internet space, especially being able to make money off of this, is like night and day difference from what capitalism wants slaves to be able to understand. Accessing multiple ways of abundance, multiple means of abundance, and being able to fully support yourself outside of needing to depend on or even be compensated by a capitalistic system that does not humanize us and is seeking to take more and more of our human rights away every single fucking day. Because when it comes time to get our asses up and leave this country so America can finally punish its own children instead of the children of all the marginalized people who've built this place up, I hope you get ready to get up and move, bro, because those people, we can be watching this country tear itself up from the inside out on television like it's an entertainment show, and we don't have to be a part of that shit.